We'll touch upon Dr. Fauci's comments in just a second, but we're seeing some breaking news that I think turn the futures around from Pfizer and a potential vaccine. What do you have here?
That's correct. Pfizer released differently than most of the other vaccine companies through a preprint study of its phase 1/2 trial. And what that has revealed is that there is tolerability of this vaccine and that it does produce to some degree neutralizing antibodies for the virus. And that's sort of the key thing to look for to see how effective a vaccine can be. Now, this study is supposed to be just to determine how well a body responds to it, as well as if there is some effect on the vaccine. There's going to be more study needed, which will come in the later trials, on just how long it can produce some sort of effect and how well it can protect against the virus. The test was done with 3 different dosage levels, 10, 30, and 100 micrograms, and there were the tolerability was fine for all of them, except what I noticed in the quick read I did of that preprint is that the higher dosages produce some level of headaches and sort of minor adverse effects. But those are considered sort of normal responses to vaccines, nothing that was really life-threatening. And so that, based on the first read, is what we're getting right now. Again, Pfizer has done this a little bit differently. Most other companies did like a press release and sort of highlighted some of this stuff, and Pfizer has said that they would, in fact, just let the data do the talking, and that is what we see right here. Brian?
Anjalee, I think what Dr. Fauci said yesterday concerned a lot of folks. Just based on your reporting, are you hearing that concern of a major spike right around the corner in infections?
Yes, I think that that's one of the things that public health experts are most concerned with right now. And that's what you heard him say, is that with the resurgence that you're seeing and sort of this, there's been a criticism of sort of this patchwork approach to curbing the outbreak in this country compared to other countries where there was sort of a national or federal level of rules rather than just sort of the guidelines that the White House task force revealed. So what we're seeing right now is each state sort of in it for themselves, determining just how much they want to reopen. And so while that has worked here in the Northeast, that has been the sort of the problem that led to the resurgence, is maybe some other states not taking some of the rules as seriously. And that's been one of the major criticisms. So unless we see sort of a major turnaround in the politicizing of masks and such, that is really going to be a key sort of thing to watch, and how well the rest of the country does in bringing their outbreak down.
And Anjalee, there's been some stories circulating around on Twitter this morning that the government has bought up or bought most of the vaccine or potential treatment for remdesivir. What does that mean for us, the general public? Does that mean we get access to this treatment quick?
That means in the U.S., the U.S. has quicker access to the drug than do other countries. So if we remember, Gilead had donated a number of their doses to clinical trials, both here and abroad. And so while there are some doses sitting in other countries for those trials and for compassionate use, they're not broadly available to the public. And the timeline that it takes for Gilead to produce this is actually the better half of a year. They've been able to reduce it in their own production to about 6 months. But what that means is that the current inventory is being largely bought up by the US. Abroad, what that means is that while they do have these voluntary licenses to other manufacturers, both in Europe and Asia, that only started in May. And so when you're looking at what does that mean for production, it's up to those manufacturers on how quickly they can actually ramp up. So at best, we're looking at maybe a September, October timeline before it's more broadly available.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.